The Singapore International Festival of Arts, or SIFA, organized and managed independently by the Arts House Limited and commissioned by the National Arts Council, SIFA aims to inspire diverse audiences through great artistic experiences. From 2014 to 2017, the festival is helmed by theatre director Ong Keng Sen, the first Singapore artist to have received both the National Arts Council Young Artist Award way back in 1992 and the Cultural Medallion in 2003. His philosophy of creating works with an international dimension and relevance has brought him international fame, and we have him for you on letsthinkaloud.com, talking exclusively about the festival, the acts and the performances that you should definitely be looking out for. This is Ong Keng Sen, Thinking Aloud. Hello Keng Sen, and thank you so much for joining me on letsthinkaloud.com.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, my very first question to you, the Open, which was a pre-festival of ideas, is finally done, and now we are gearing up for the SIFA, which is the Singapore International Festival of Arts. So the theme this year is post-empires. Why post-empires? What triggered you to have a theme on the lines of post-empires?
I think that in this stage of our life on the globe, we are actually coming to the end of the world as we know it, in the sense that we've reached so much globalization, there's been so much abuse of the earth's resources that we really have to reconsider where we want to go. Do we want to continue living in this way, or do we want to rethink in a more green way, in a more sustainable way, in different ways?
What goes in the making of a festival of such a huge magnitude? And what question really comes to my mind is that how did you choose performers or performances to suit the theme of post-empires?
I decided to have a theme for the festival, mainly because I think this allows for some kind of transparency of why we choose the companies that we choose. In the world, there are many good artists, so why these 4 or 5 artists who come together? And particularly in Singapore, I don't want it to be seen like it's rotation. Okay, this year is company A and next year is company B. So I use the theme to guide and to filter us, like which companies to choose, because maybe they respond to the theme well. So with the Singapore commissions, I approached 50 artists, and then from there they responded. They gave me some kind of concept in response to my concept. And I think that themes allow the artists to naturally be selected. So it's some kind of natural selection process, because also that when we commission artists, and next year we want to commission international artists as well, very often many people are excited at the start, but along the way their proposals become uninteresting or something like that.
I know you've not been sleeping for some days, and I've been seeing you from the beginning of Open, and you've been running around. And for the SIFA especially, I want to know, since it's your baby, what are some of the highlights that we can totally look forward to this year? Something that you want to tell us that we cannot miss?
I think Daniel Buren's Cabernet is very, very great. I mean, he's a visual artist who started his career in the 60s, minimalist art, just drawing stripes, right? So it's like he has red and white stripes alternating, or blue and white stripes alternating, and his work is worth millions of dollars. And he, in the last decade, he started to design circuses. So each circus, there are 3 tents, and it sits about 150 people each tent, so it's a very intimate circus, and the audience is kind of seeing individuals struggling with some physical challenge. Maybe it is tightrope, aerialists, it could also be acrobatics, clowns, but there's a very strong sense of the individual struggling with the frailty of the body in relation to physical challenges. But we as the audience, we sit in these 3 tents like installations, and we're very close to them, and there are some very beautiful African singers who move around like troubadours from tent to tent, and it's a very different sort of circus. So you see the visual art coming in to interact with the circus. So this is one show which I like a lot. Another show which is also very interesting is Wild Rice Hotel, because they look at the last 100 years. It's the same hotel room, and every decade they have a story in there. And of course, this 100 years gives you a picture of what happens in a colonial Singapore, and then post-colonial Singapore, and then into contemporary Singapore. And I think that this, in a way, parallels some of the experiences that we probably share with India as well, because at the time when India was the jewel in the crown, and here in Singapore we were one of the three Straits settlements with Malacca and Penang, and it was very important for the empire. We were the naval crossroads. Another great festival production is Dementia, and this is a production from Hungary, and it's very relevant right now, because the question is that what is money doing to all of us? What is capitalism doing to all of us? And of course, as Hungary comes out of the socialist era, everybody is selling everything they have. So the story is about a hospital with patients who are suffering from dementia, and the hospital gets sold and the patients are emptied out because there's no place for them. So it becomes a real estate future for the hospital, and you see the struggle of countries that are socialist, communist, and how they in the end up having different futures. And it's really a tragic future for people who have nothing in the future of capitalism. For me, it's a wonderful director, Cornel Mundrusko. He won the Cannes Festival Prize, and he's a film director who also crosses over to theatre.
There's also a dance marathon that's happening from August 21st to September 6th. So why did you feel the need to have a separate dance marathon when already we do have a lot of performers and performances and dance-related acts happening?
Well, one of the reasons is that I think the festival becoming quite big is very hard to draw some kind of focus to examine specific questions. I think this year in Singapore, the festival looks at border crosses, which is about migration in a way. But with dance, we felt like we wanted to look at 14 dancers, and we wanted to look quite specifically at the body, how the body is an archive, right? Because usually we see archives as either film clips or as oral archives perhaps, but what about the physical body which is fading, and what are the body memories that you have? And in a way, we knew that if we just put it into the general festival, the issue would disappear. So in making a dance marathon, it became a bracket. It's a festival within a festival. A very, very imaginative possibilities is in contemporary dance. So the whole idea of just putting it as a special bracket with special examination of the body as archive was just a way to give it special focus.
Brilliant. We totally look forward to it. One word or one line to all the listeners tuned in right now who are still contemplating whether they should get their tickets or not. What is it that Keng Sen wants to tell them?
It's dynamic. Come.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, and we'll be talking to you shortly for the incredible adventures of border crossers. Thank you, Keng Sen, for joining us.
Thank you. See you soon at the festival.